All right, hey everyone, back with another news feed here for you. This one, mobile phone detection cameras. This is out of Australia here, but it's interesting what's going on here. So they're putting up cameras specifically to watch this stuff. You can see them right here. These cameras, they're on moving roads, not at stoplights, not at things like that, and their only sole purpose is to see if people are using their phones while they're driving. That's the whole purpose of what these things do, and they capture it like this. They see if a person there, look at this guy's flipping them off and got his phone in his hand. But this is what they're doing here, is they're watching to see if people are actually on their phones while they're driving. Some people here even two-hand drive. This is going down the road. No hands on the wheel, two hands on their phone doing stuff. We're seeing this more and more. Well, 68,000 times in 3 months. They had a grace period where they were giving warnings out. Okay, so the South Australia Police had issued 68,000 warning letters to motorists illegally using a mobile phone while driving during a 3-month expiration grace period for 5 new detection cameras. So out of only 5 camera locations, they were hit with 68,000 warnings over a 3-month period of people doing this while they're driving down the road. Pretty crazy here. It's pretty crazy they even have these cameras out there. But like I said, this is, some of these guys, it says right here, many of them, motorists have been detected several times, including one driver caught 33 times, 2 snapped 32 times, and a 4th pinged 31 different occasions where they were caught by only 5 cameras working their phone like this. And well, they're cracking down on it. They say it's complete definition of stupidity, and they are not tolerating it. And the fines, where is the fine? Right here. So the grace period ends tonight. South Australia Police will be issuing fines of $556 plus a $102 victim of crime levy to motorists caught on camera from 12 a.m. on Thursdays when it kicks off, basically. So you take a look at that, and these speeders that were caught, says right here, had this occurred outside of the grace period, each of those 4 drivers would have been liable for fines totaling about $20,000 each. The fun is over. They're not playing around. They're getting it done. They're like, no, this is it, legit. We're going to get it. It says more than 12,000 people were sent 4 or more warning letters during the grace period. And again, it's only a 3 months. They would have lost their license had this been a reality. So they're cracking down. Now, I'll bet this stuff comes to the U.S. pretty soon. Like I said, that's the way this stuff works, so we could expect to see this. Here it is, but I do think that the using your phone on the road stuff is way too much and too big of a problem, so I think it causes too many problems. So I think this is good, but here it is. The technology is here. It is legit, and we are going to have to deal with it just like they are over there. And next one on here. Ford's got this new EV coming out. Okay, they're low cut. That they're Skunk Works team. We know they're Skunk Works team. It's Apple employees, Tesla execs. It's a whole bunch of people that are trying to make Ford these very affordable EV vehicles. Okay, well, that's what they're doing. Well, they ran into a problem. All right, so the Skunk Works team, what they're planning on doing here is they got to get it down to a certain number. So for this Ford EV pickup, which is basically like the Ranger they're talking about bringing out here, they got one problem, and they got to find a way to trim $800 in cost off of this. And Farley's pissed that it's not happening, and he's worried about it cutting too many corners to do it. They ultimately realized they could save $500 by reducing the size of the battery pack, which was made possible by the fact that it's overachieved in its terms of providing 16 more miles of driving range than it expected. So they're going to make that smaller, but that still leaves $300 to try to figure out a way to get out of here. Farley and his team reportedly mulled over the decisions, thinking that deleting some of the things like the heated steering wheel, maybe even the front trunk. Really, you were going to delete a front truck on an EV pickup? But the executive soon expressed concerns that Ford Motor Company may be going a bit too far in terms of cutting corners. Well, that's good to hear Farley say that, because he's been cutting corners and doing shoddy stuff here for the last 5 years. So it sure would be nice for him to stop cutting corners. The production or the product could end up being really shitty, is what the word he's using here. But then stop trying to do it. You're down to $300 here. Stop. Heck, we would probably like to have that bigger battery pack. The cheaper you make it, I mean, find a way to get this done without having to, I mean, I just don't understand. I don't understand how the willingness to cut corners that these companies are going to do to save a couple $100. Just eat the couple $100, really, is my opinion. I just don't get it. So what they said is, then let's get 20 people who we all trust in a room and we'll argue and agree about it. He said, suggest place sticky notes. Get your team to place sticky notes on a prototype with ideas of how to proceed. Then let's get 20 people all in a trusted room. I mean, that's how bad it is when you got to fight that hard to try to get rid of $300 worth of stuff on a truck. That's the world we live in today, where they're cutting it so close and so low. This is why we have cheaper materials, thinner materials, why they look nice, but they don't work well. This is why they break down quicker. It's all this stupid game stuff here that just drives me nuts. Moving on from there, speaking of one that's gone, why the Nissan Titan was the most underrated full-size truck ever built, and it's gone. Okay, it's out of here. 2024 was the last year. Why did it go? Why did people let this truck go? It comes down to the simple facts and numbers that people look at. Yes, it had a V6 in here, a 5.4 V8, 5.4 liter V8 in this thing. Was an amazing motor. It was priced high. You can see here, okay, Nissan was asking prospective buyers to cough up $48,700 for the lowest spec Titan SV. Well, it's not a base, but it's like the Ford 150 XL was basically $12,000 cheaper. Okay, so it's, like I said, the price was a hit there that was kind of a tough thing. The interior, the Nissan, the Titan is very simplified, which many of us love that fact. But compared to the other vehicles out here today, it was simple and kind of archaic in design. Again, kind of like the 4Runner. We love that about it, but tech was moving forward beyond what it could do. Silverado, the Tundra, and the F-150, they were taking leaps and bounds. This is a 21-year-old truck. This Nissan is 21-year-old in design. So, which we love. I'm not taking that away from it, but the world doesn't love. Okay, the average consumer doesn't love. They don't want that anymore. They want new and fancy and technology and that kind of stuff. And speaking of that, they talking about that. Let's think about the F-150. Okay, now Chevy and GM just updated their 1500 series and their 2500, 3500 series a few years ago. But realistically, the Ford F-150, Ford Super Duty, they've been the same for like almost 2 decades as well too. They haven't changed anything, or in a decade. I mean, they've looked almost the same for the most part for 10 straight years. Okay, between these two truck trims. I didn't mean 2 decades, I meant 2 truck trims. But they haven't changed much either. They're pretty much the same thing. But the Titan was the one that people just couldn't get wrapped around. And then it also had the horrible towing capacity. Okay, now the motor was amazing, still is amazing. But the problem was it came in at only 9,299. So 9,300 pounds of towing. And when all the other trucks were towing tons more. You could get a lot more capability out of their towing wise. So that was a big hit for Nissan with the Titan. It just couldn't keep up anymore. It was expensive for what it was, with an amazing motor, an amazing truck on every level, but it was expensive, and it didn't have the tech. It didn't have the updates, and it didn't have the towing capacity. That was what hurt this truck and why it went away. For many people, myself included, I'd have loved to own this truck. If I was buying a full-size truck in 2024, this would have probably been one that I'd have been leaning on real heavy if I was a long-term owner. Wanted to keep it for a long time. This was one of the only full-size trucks. There's only a couple that I would consider long-term trucks, and this would have been one of them. It's a shame to see this go. We're very disappointed and bummed out that this is going and not staying here, but this is the reason why. Put your comments down below. What do you think happened to it? Do you agree with what this article's saying here? How do you feel on it? Let me know. Thanks for watching.